beautiful shirts for a couple of reasons. Well, one, black's beautiful, but two, we also just wanted to have on the same shirt today. So I guess for 3 reasons. And then the third reason is we want to show some solidarity to the 3 ladies over at Black Biz Scope, hashtag Black Biz Scope, who have started this movement. They're calling it a revolution, a business revolution, where they are supporting and showcasing Black-owned businesses every Friday on Periscope. So those of you who are following me in various other ways besides this 30-day challenge, you probably saw me do this Wednesday my first Periscope, and I was sharing with my Wednesday webinar group how to use Periscope for their businesses as creative entrepreneurs.
Right.
So I thought this was like, oh, it's a super great way to like support them, but also, you know, just to support creative entrepreneurship in general. I love when people get together, band together, and do something powerful and moving. And so I spent the morning watching all of the scopes that they were doing, supporting these Black-owned businesses, and it is awesome and amazing. So we thought we'd wear these shirts in support of that and solidarity for them and what they're doing. I'll put a link below so that you can see what I'm talking about, because it's much more extensive. So I'll give a big shout out to the 3 ladies who started it, Moms in Charge, and I'm giving you their social media names, okay? So look them up on social media, Moms in Charge, and it's just the letter N, Moms in Charge. Coils by Nature, that's K-O-I-L-S, Coils by Nature, and then Trendy Socialite. Those are the 3 ladies who started this Black Biz Scope, hashtag Black Biz Scope, Black businesses being showcased on Periscope. So check it out. Alright, so on to supporting other businesses in general. Simple Green Smoothies, 30-day challenge. We're on day 10. What is it?
Plumberry Beet.
Plumberry Beet. That's crazy. Okay, that means we've got beets. Beets are actually one of my favorite things to put in. Full of iron, and I'm iron deficient 97% of the time. The other 2%, 7, 8, 9, 10. The other 3% is when I actually take my iron, which is not very often. I forget a lot. Or I neglect it a lot. Let's just be honest. Anyway, so I love beets because I know that I'm getting my iron in when I am eating beets. It's a really good way. So, what do we want to tell them about ingredients today?
Well, we should probably tell them that the beets that we're adding, we're including the beet tops. So it's important to know or kind of think about the fact that beet tops are chock full with nutrients and vitamins. It's one of the most potent parts of the beet, as is the same is true with carrot tops.
Yes.
So we like to include our greens whenever we can.
Yeah.
They can't harm you, they can only help you.
So it's just think of it as an added green, right? Just like you would add collards or kale or spinach. This is the beet top, and it also has a green element to it. So we do add that to ours. And then plums and raspberries and kale. And I have some tips for you about kale and all the different things you can do with kale besides blending them in smoothies and making them delicious. So when we make our smoothie, we'll be back and share some tips.
If she forgets to tell you about her kale chips, I'll make sure to remind her.
Oh yes, and the kale chips. Okay, he'll remind me to tell you. All right, we'll see you back here in a minute. Just beat it. Just beat it.
My wife is off the chain.
Beat it. Okay. So we've got, what is the name of it?
Sweet berry,
No, plumberry.
Plumberry beet.
Plumberry beet. Alright, because it has plums and berries in it.
See, this morning she came downstairs talking about sweet berries, so she planted that sweet berry seed in my mind.
Alright, let's do our pour.
Please, because I was feeling a little depleted. I cannot lie.
It's Friday, y'all. Frisky day. Okay.
You need your straw, don't you?
Yeah, I have one right there. Okay, so.
There you go.
A little bit of stirring, a little bit of stirring, a little bit of stirring. I know.
It never ends, y'all. It just never ends.
It's like intermission.
It's like a ritual.
It's definitely a ritual. I am a creature of habit. I do have lots of rituals and routines in my life.
And stirring the smoothie is one of them.
It is.
Make my husband wait ritual. Cheers.
Cheers, baby. Enjoy. Enjoy.
This is really good. Now, we got to be honest, full disclosure, transparency. Along the way of making the smoothie, Kyla did a couple of taste tests.
Yeah, I did.
And as a result, it was kind of strong. But we put in, more beet than they called for.
We did.
Now, what's important for novices to know is that it's okay to kind of finagle and modify as you see fit, because you don't want to turn yourself away by making a smoothie that's too strong for your taste buds.
Right. Yeah.
So please make it to your taste preference.
Absolutely. Stop before you pour and do, stop, dip a spoon in, taste, see what you need to adjust. You might need more sweetener if you're using honey, maple syrup, agave, whatever you're using, stevia. Then you might need to adjust how much you use.
What I like to call some help.
Exactly. We also added a couple of ingredients. We added 2 bananas, 2 hours, because I like the flavor of beet and banana together, and it also adds a texture, a thickness to the smoothie that we like.
Right.
So we did throw a couple bananas in 2 hours as well.
And we added a little extra water because we didn't want it to be too thick.
Yeah, so to thin it out a little bit. And we used a whole beet instead of half a beet. I think they call for half a beet. Right. So we made some adjustments for our taste buds and our smoothie style. So we say, find your smoothie style and adjust your smoothies to fit that.
Yeah, we just wanted to be completely honest about that so that you have the freedom to make it the way you like it. Because everybody's a little bit different, especially if you're new. So we don't want you to run away from something that's powerful.
So we've got a list of tips for you today. Tip number 1, when you work with beets, they're very red. They are beautiful color, right? They're beautiful beet red. You've heard people say that before.
For a reason.
For a reason. And so the red will stain your fingers if you're not using like gloves or whatever. I never use gloves, but you'll notice I don't have any beet left on my fingers because I use a little drop of liquid soap from my sink plus just a pinch, See, this is a pinch, but I'm doing like a 4-finger pinch. Okay, so a 4-finger pinch of baking soda in my hand and just rub it all together. It almost makes remember that soap borax back in the day? It's like a powdered soap. Okay. And artists still use that. I actually have borax in my studio that I use when I get paint and stuff on my hand and I need a little help. Mechanics use it a lot to help with getting grease off. So baking soda and a little bit of dish detergent. Rub, and the beet red goes away. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, we want to talk about lids today for your smoothies. So when you buy mason jars, they usually come with this 2-part lid, right? It's the flat metal piece and then the open silver ring that goes around it, fits around it to form the lid. And this is for canning and preserving because you can make a suction with this and seal it in really great. What we have found is using it with smoothies, we wash them a lot, they get wet a lot, and they tend to rust. So we switched to using these plastic 1-piece, and the camera's got a lot of light on it right now, so it might be difficult to see, but it's just a white plastic cap, and we'll link below to where you can get these. And we prefer these, because of what I just talked about with the rusting in that piece. If you have kids, or if you're just a kid at heart, we recommend these. It's by the same people who make some of the mason jar equipment, and it has a hole, but it fits with this silver piece, and it makes your smoothie into a lid that has a straw. So if you have kids and you're worried about them spilling, especially when you make anything with beets, because beets will stain your carpet, your walls, your fingers, your shirts, your clothes, everything. And so if you have kids and you're giving them things with beets in it, you probably don't want to use a lid like this, or if you're clumsy like I can be sometimes, you probably want something like this. It's really cool. Or if you're I cannot keep this, clumsy. So if you're a commuter and you're riding in your car, this is really good to have too, so you don't spill stuff on yourself on your way to work, that kind of thing. That's
good advice. That's a good tip.
All right, so grab you one of these. We'll link to them below. And they usually come in a set of 4 with these plastic straws. I'm not a fan of these plastic straws, but If you're really diligent and you wash them out immediately,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about anything getting in there and living and growing.
You might invent, you know, a straw cleaner.
Right? Exactly. Go make
Like,
that.
especially
We will
for
buy
this.
one from you.
Not a
if you make
pipe
that.
cleaner.
All right, so that's tip number 2. So tip 1 was baking soda and dish detergent to get the beets off your hand. Step 2 is, you know, think about the lids that you're using. There are different options out there for lids. There is a third lid we didn't show you that is just one piece metal, but again, you run the risk of rusting and all that too. So anyway, check, you know, be diligent about your lids. The third tip for today, when you are working with your beets, bring your peeler back out and peel that thin layer on the outside of the beet before you use it.
And I promise not to let her forget about the kale chips.
Yes, the kale chips. So then the fourth tip would be the things you could do with kale, because sometimes when you buy kale in bulk, you're not going to use it all for your smoothie and you don't want it to go bad. So other things you can do, you can marinate your kale leaves in Bragg's amino, which is really, really good, and it's almost like a soy sauce. And then use this as a wrap for like sandwiches, tuna salad, all sorts of things. Anything that you could replace with bread. You can even spread hummus in it with a little bit of like garlic and Kalamata olives, and that's a really good little treat. Roll it up and eat it like a little roll. And then the kale chips. So the kale chips are super simple. I'll link to the recipe, but here it is. You know, coarse chop your, sometimes I just break them, to be honest with y'all. Like I take the kale leaf and I just do like little pieces like this, about that size, and then I just keep, you know, breaking the kale until I have a bunch of pieces about that size. Put them in a big bowl, drizzle olive oil over the top of them, sprinkle sea salt, a little bit of cayenne, which is the part he likes, and maybe some black pepper. You can throw some black pepper in there too, salt, pepper, cayenne. Mix them really good, get it really good and coated with the olive oil. Pop them in your oven at like 275. You don't need to be at like 350, none of that, like 275 max. If you have a gas stove, you could probably get away with like 250 even. Leave them in there for about 12 minutes, check them. If they're not crispy yet, leave them in until about 18. Usually about 18 minutes is all it takes me. So sea salt, cayenne, black pepper, olive oil, mix it all up in a bowl together, get them good and coated. Pop them on a cookie sheet, throw them in your oven about 12 to 18 minutes, depending on your oven.
Keep an eye on it.
At about 250 to 275, depending on your oven. Delicious treat, delicious snack. I think we'll make some tonight.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. I mean, if you think about how much kale chips cost in the grocery store, paying like $8 to $10 for 3 ounces. Like, please. So it's worth a shot. I mean, give it a try. And I promise you'll like it.
Yeah.
You know, but you might not be successful the first time. So
Yeah,
it
the
takes
first time I did it, I burned them. I left them in too long. They were like super dried out and shriveled up. And I even think the second time I made them, they were too salty. Like, you got to kind of play around with it and get the right, you know, because I don't have any measurements for you on salt. Like, you just got to be eyeball it.
to taste. But I'm glad she persevered.
Yeah, so now it's easy. Now I just know how much, and it makes sense, and pop them in, and they're good.
Boom.
All right, folks. That's all we got for you today. We hope you are still making smoothies. We do plan to, tomorrow's day 11, make sure you grab your, gosh, we can't get this. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Make sure you grab your 7-day meal planner, because we'll be talking about that on Sunday when we get ready to go to the grocery store. But we probably will do some planning on Saturday. So grab your menu, download, and let's maybe we'll share with you what we did this week. We'll share our menu from this past week, and that way you can kind of see how we eat. Not that you have to eat the way we eat, but we thought we'd just share it with you anyway.
And see how we plan.
Yeah. All right.
Good.
Yep. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Cheers.